to the world. Subscribe now to the Hot 97 YouTube channel. It's Ebro in the Morning with Laura Stiles and Rosenberg.
Yo, it's Ebro in the Morning. Laura Stiles is on mama duty. You got Rosenberg here, and our brother CC Sabathia is pulling up today. You know what I mean? Hanging out. He got a whole, speaking of pulling up, he got a whole movement with the Players Alliance, the Pull-Up Neighbor. Talk about that, CC, and thank you for coming by the program, too. Great to see you, man.
No, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me. So the Players Alliance, we started back in April. This is our first real event that we're doing, and we got a 33-city tour going on where we're stopping in communities all across the country that are in help, that are needing, and we're passing out PPEs, we're passing out baseball equipment. We're partnering up with local food banks to pass out pantry items and things for people that they need over the holidays. As it gets closer to Christmas, we'll start passing out toys and things like that, like toy drives. So it's just a good way for the players to get involved during this holiday season and show that we're all together. This Players Alliance came together during the pandemic. In the wake of George Floyd's death and everything that was going on in the country, we felt like we needed to come together. And baseball players have never been this, been on this one united front, especially the Black players. So it feels good to be a part of this and kicking off this tour. Yesterday we started in the Bronx. Today we'll be in Coney Island in the Bronx in Brooklyn at 1 o'clock.
Did you feel the baseball? How did you feel the baseball community, Black players and the league in general? How did you feel about their involvement in the protests surrounding social justice?
Oh, I thought it was great. I mean, especially in baseball, you never see, what you saw in 2020. Dom Smith walking off the field at Citi Field, and Mookie Betts, the highest paid player, one of the highest paid players in the league, probably second best player in the league, taking the knee during the national anthem. So many guys across the league. You had guys on the Yankees taking the knee. So this new generation of players in MLB are doing a great job using their voice, and the Players Alliance is here to try to help help them, guide them to use their voice in the right way. And it feels good though to watch these guys step up the way they did this year. It was awesome.
CC, you continue, and I don't know how many people are aware of all of the work that you not only do behind the scenes, but in front of the scenes for your local community where you're from in Vallejo in Northern California, and also your Pitch In Foundation that you've had. I mean, how long has Pitch In Foundation been active and just doing things in the community?
Pitch In's been around for 12 years now,
Right.
which is great. It's a lot of fun. And like you said, it all started back in Vallejo, basically started in the Crest at my Boys and Girls Club, and wanting to give back there and do good things there, and just didn't see the results that I wanted. So me and Amber decided to start our own organization, and we've been blessed enough to do things, in our home here in the Bronx. I feel like the Bronx is my home, and back in California, we've done things in Cleveland, Milwaukee. So it's just been a blessing to be able to, have an organization that can reach so many people. And this tour, speaking of the Pull-Up Neighbor Tour, again, it starts what y'all call my home, the Bronx, and then it ends in Vallejo, California, which is, where I grew up. So, it'll be a lot of fun to end it in Vallejo too.
How much did you miss being away from the game this past? Well, maybe this year's a bad example, but in general, how much have you missed just being away from baseball?
Man, I wish I could say I missed that. I ain't miss it at all. Like not one
Talk
bit.
your shit, bro.
I keep telling people I should have retired 5 years ago, man. I don't know what I was doing. I'm really enjoying being around the family. I got 4 kids. My 17-year-old now is on that, circuit of trying to, get to the next level in baseball. So he's traveling all across the country playing. So I got a chance to see him play for the first time in 6 years this summer. So I'm having a lot of fun. I'm lifting weights, I'm golfing, I'm hanging out with the fam. And, as soon as everything opens back up, I'll be able to go to Raider games. So, nah, man, I'm not missing baseball at all.
But do you think part of that is because of the way you left it out on the field? I mean, you literally pitched till your arm fell off. Do you think that helped make it like an easier transition of like, oh, I'm really done?
Yeah, for sure. I think just the way 19 played out, me being able to get 3,000 strikeouts, me being able to kind of, we did the softball game. You guys were there. Yeah. We had the gala, you know what I'm saying? So everything, I got a chance to play everything out the way I wanted it to end. So other than not, getting a parade. But yeah, I mean, I'm satisfied and happy with the way my career went and how everything ended. So yeah, there's no regrets. It's a weird thing to be done with something, and I'm just looking forward to the next chapter. It feels weird now to even think that I was a pitcher, like to look back sometimes, like now that I'm so, I'm only 6 months removed from it, but it just feels like I'm just ready for the next chapter.
How does someone, are you the first example of a professional athlete who only gets into shape after they stop playing the sport?
Nah, offensive linemen do that shit
Yeah,
all the time.
right.
Yeah.
You got to think of me as an offensive lineman. I'm like a right tackle. Like
Right.
needed all that weight. I needed all that weight to pitch. Now I'm slimming down and getting the body I want for the Vegas pool parties.
Now, since you're talking about Vegas pool parties and losing weight and all of that, now you in the gym, like you in there pushing around big weight, trying to get ripped up. Now our brother Funk Flex went out and got lipo the other day. Now you lost. How much weight have you lost?
So at my biggest, I was 335. So around 2013 or 14, I was pitching at like 335. Right now I'm 283, which I don't want to go any lower than 275. I don't know if you guys remember, I lost a bunch of weight I think in 2014. I got down to 265 and I looked so like frail and skinny and just not like myself. So I wanted to kind of, keep the same frame, but not have the belly. So this is kind of what I've been
and on that, because, as we get older, those hard to reach areas, it's hard to get cut for real. It's hard.
It is.
Like, are you going for that? Are you a lipo candidate? Like you would be
Absolutely
like, yo,
not. You know what? And I honestly, I thought I might be, but then I saw that video and I'm like, no.
Hell no. Hell no.
Absolutely not. That shit looks so painful. Like I'm good. My little problem areas would be my problem areas.
And
like,
that's that.
I mean, going from 330 to 275, you got to be happy with what you got. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I respect it.
How tall are you, CC?
I'm 6'7".
That's the thing people got to remember too when they hear the numbers. Like you're comfortable walking around 275. You're 6'7".
Yeah,
so it's a different thing.
Yeah, I'm a big guy, and I've always been, a bigger guy. I got a big frame, so I mean, I could have easily, if I played in the NFL, I could have easily walked around at 345, 350. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the reason why out of high school I chose to play baseball instead of going to college to play football, because I knew somebody would get me on campus and turn me into an offensive tackle, and I'll be walking around since I'm 20 years old at like 330 pounds, and obviously with the heart issues and high blood pressure and all those things, I want to live a long time. I want to see my grandkids. I want to watch my kid, whatever, careers they have. So that's a lot of his motivation too.
So I've been talking to some people at Major League Baseball over the last year or two about trying to get some more guests on the show and trying to talk baseball more with our audience here at Hot. And baseball, I've heard from people, this is something Michael Kay's actually told me some stories about this, about baseball being a very segregated game inside the locker room. You have white players, you have Black American players, and then you have obviously a ton of Spanish-speaking players and other. How divided is the game racially, and is there a fraternity among the African American baseball players?
You know what? It's weird. It's crazy because there is that separation. But when you're on a team, you're together, if that makes sense. So when you walk into a clubhouse, my locker's here, Guardians from South Carolina, we're two completely different people, right? But when we get in that locker room, we have one goal is to try to go out and win. So we put whatever differences we have aside, whatever's going on in the world, whatever is really happening, you put that aside to try to go out and win a baseball game. Whatever was going on this year in 2020 and, the end of 2019 and, coming into this year, you couldn't put those differences aside. It was too much stuff going on in the world to really just set that aside and try to go out and play a baseball game. So that's why you've seen a lot more meetings this year. You've seen a lot of more, involvement from everybody, whether it was white players, Black players, Spanish players. Dylan Betances was out there yesterday with me at the Players Alliance, and he walked off the field with Dom Smith, and Robinson Cano the same thing. So there's been more unity this year. I've been watching in clubhouses more than ever. But yeah, I mean, there is that divide just because there's not a lot of Black American players in the league, and it's just one of those things where you have to find friends where you can.
And when you grew up wanting to play, I mean, you and Ebro are like the same age. You're growing up. You're seeing Dave Winfield and Darryl Strawberry.
I was just about to go into this because
Major
League Baseball hasn't invested in Black recruitment in that way. Like they,
you know what? But you know what? And I thought that the kids weren't playing. The kids are playing. We just got to get them the opportunity. I'm out here on the circuit with my son. There's such a wave of great Black American athletes right now in baseball. We just have to give them the opportunities to get to the perfect game. To get, like, a lot of these kids are getting drafted off rap soda and TrackMan numbers, right? So you get a kid in the hood that can hit a ball, 150 miles an hour off the bat, but you've never seen him do it, and he don't have those numbers. He's not going to get drafted. He's not going to get to the next level. You know what I'm saying?
Explain what you just said. You said some things in there that I'm not familiar with. You know what I mean? You were speaking baseball talk.
Yeah.
So
go
for
ahead.
the moms and dads that
down.
are watching this that may want their kids to go down that path, what is that even? I don't know what you're saying.
So exit velocity now is a big thing in baseball where you try to see how hard a guy hits the ball off the bat. So Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton, when they hit a ball hard, it's 112, 115 off the bat. And that's what kids are getting drafted off, some of these numbers. My kid comes down here and he hits in his cage, and the first thing he does is sets up his little radar machine every swing to see how hard he's hitting the ball off the tee. So a lot of these kids don't have access to that. And they don't have access to get the numbers, so they don't get to go to the perfect games. They don't get to go to the, Prep Baseball Report showcases. They don't get to go to the Baseball Factory showcases to get these numbers, to get the scouts to take a look at them, to get them to the next level.
And how can we, as people who want to help people access this, what can be done to help kids get these looks?
It's just about us putting together, whether it's summer teams, summer leagues, summer workouts, and just get the technology and access to as many fields as we can. And that's what we're trying to do at the Players Alliance. MLB has been helping us a lot. The Players Association has been helping us a lot. And we're on the verge of doing some things next summer to be able to help some of these kids. So just go to our website, check us out, and just and keep staying in touch and keep being involved if you guys really want to help.
And that's the Players
Playersalliance.com. Yeah.
Okay. Is there a basic thing that could be done too with just the marketing around someone like Mookie Betts, a generational Black superstar?
Absolutely. If you look at like the NBA or the NFL, right, they do a great job of using their players. They market them in the commercial. Like State Farm is a big supporter of the NFL. They're one of their sponsors. In every commercial, every State Farm commercial, you see, Pat Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers, or in the NBA it's James Harden, or it's
Chris Paul,
CP3, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, why Mookie Betts is not in the Pepsi commercial or whatever big sponsors that MLB has? Mookie Betts needs to be in every one of those commercials. Whoever else, Mike Trout, Aaron Judge, like these guys need to be marketed in these commercials, and it doesn't even have to be like your biggest players. A lot of these guys in NFL and NBA are not the best players, and they get a lot of commercials. So I think MLB needs to do a better job of leveraging their sponsors and putting their players in those commercials.
Do you get calls, because you're an ambassador for Major League Baseball now. You are I'm looking at the, when we got prepared for this interview, even though I talked to you in our private live, I didn't know that CC Sabathia was one of the most celebrated Southpaw aces in baseball history. You're one of only 15 Black aces. Right, this is African-American pitchers who have won 20 games in a single season. Yeah. Like these are, also this year you had a whole collaborative thing you did for clothing around Negro League Baseball in 100 years. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You sent some gear out and we posted on the gram, et cetera, et cetera. So you are doing a lot of work. You are personally, but is Major League Baseball, are they reaching out to players like yourself who are Black and have a profile and have relationships to help with these things, or that system is not set up yet?
No, they actually are, and the Players Alliance is helping a lot with that. Us being organized and having organized thoughts and what we want to see done. So yeah, I mean, like I said, Major League Baseball and the Players Association have been reaching out a lot and asking questions. How can we help? How can we get better? And how can we market to these kids? But like I said, it's a lot of young, talent coming up in the league right now. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And I think, you're seeing some of the old guard, some of the old rules leave the game where, swinging on 3-0 or, stealing bases and doing some of the things that, we want to see, as a fan, make the game fun. the league is kind of letting up, or some of the players are kind of letting up on that. So I think the league would be a little more fun now too.
All right, I've got to ask you a couple Yankee questions. What the hell?
I get in trouble every
I know.
time I answer Yankee
And
questions.
listen,
bro.
I'm going to try to avoid the ones that would really be tough for you. But what the hell are we going to do about Gary Sanchez, man? What is the solution here?
I think you let Gary play, man. Like, obviously I threw to Gary for 2 years and we never had a problem. I think Gary needs to get back to hitting the ball to right center field. He's such a good hitter, and he just, he hit a couple of balls to left and he tanks them, and then he just tries to do that. But for me, he's one of the best hitters on this team, and his offense helps his defense. So when he's hitting, he's going to catch better. And I think if he can get his bat rolling,
is he being overly coached, CC? Like, why does someone who's so naturally great, and Gary Sanchez has been great since he was like 15 years old?
You know what? I don't know if he's – I just think catching in general, it's just one of those tough positions where, it's so demanding, especially when you have a veteran pitching staff. When you got Garrett Cole, you got Masahiro Tanaka, you got Jay Happ, you got some of these older guys, and you're trying to hit big league pitching, and you're playing in New York where, you're most scrutinized, franchise in the league. It just makes it hard. And when you start rolling bad, it just snowballs. And
it's hard to turn it around. It's hard to turn it around.
It's very hard to turn it around here. It's very, very hard once it gets rolling in the wrong direction.
If you were to predict whether or not Aaron Judge ends up being a Yankee long term, you think he'll be here for the haul?
I think he has to be. I think for this franchise to, take that next step into the next wave of dominance, Aaron Judge has to be on the field, and he has to be a Yankee. And the only time he played a full season, he would have won the MVP if they wasn't banging on trash cans. So, if he plays a full season, he's the best player in the league.
They weren't banging on trash cans. Yo.
How much do you hate the Astros?
It's true though, right?
I know it's true.
I was just the MVP.
I was just figuring out my next question because I know that there's some bad harbor feelings against what the Astros did to win the chip that year.
Yeah, I mean, it's just crazy. Like, it is what it is. I think if I never won, then I'd be a lot more upset. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
If I never won a championship, then I'd be a lot more upset because I still feel like we would have won 2017. I don't know, just being on that team and the way we were rolling. Obviously, we won we were the wild card team, but the way we were rolling that October, there was nothing that was going to stop us other than people cheating.
When you look back at it, can you be like, oh yeah, that does feel like that's what was happening? Like, does it seem plausible when you look back?
A couple times for sure. I mean, yeah, when I look back and I think that's what sometimes, still gets you frustrated about it. When you look back and you be like, damn, like that was a missed opportunity, but it is what it is. I just feel bad for, the Aaron Judges and the Gary Sanchez because, if we win in 2017, then there's not so much pressure on these kids right now to go out and win a championship. Like, there's so much pressure on these kids in their third or fourth year in the big league to win a championship. You know how hard that is? Like, and they had it done in 2017 in all of their first year.
CC, I'm asking you the hardest question I have to ask you today, okay?
All right.
Because you're my guy.
Here we
my
go.
man, 50 grand. But I got to ask, what is the issue between you and my guy, Michael K?
There is no issue. I don't think there's an issue.
Ebro, use your Oakland powers to read into this.
There is no issue.
I mean,
man.
all I saw was he broke eye contact.
You saw he broke eye contact, right? What is the deal?
There's no issue, man. That's your guy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but you never come on the show.
What do I need to come? Every time I come on the show and answer Yankee questions, I get in trouble. Whatever I just said right now, they're gonna make an article about this in the Post.
Well, that's what I'm going for with the K question. So you're telling me right now,
anytime I come on the show, anytime I answer Yankee questions, I always get in trouble. So it's no point in me going on like a show that I'll talk about only Yankees.
But you have no personal issue with Michael K.
Nope. And I didn't break eye contact that time.
Yeah, well, you worked on it. You was working. You were working extra hard.
Yo, man.
So, look, and now I didn't even know this was a thing, but now once CC, I'm gonna let you. We're gonna finish this interview. We're gonna talk about the documentary, and now I'm gonna run back through the tapes, and I'm gonna listen to Michael K calling some of your pitching, and I'm gonna listen close and see if he ever said anything slick. Because I come from Michael K, no problem.
No, well, but you're not. I'm telling you, you're gonna have to look hard because K is definitely a CC fan from a baseball standpoint for sure. I don't think he has anything to say. I was there with him, like when CC's had some moments, and listened to how K waxed poetic about his greatness as a Yankee. So, but I don't know. You guys are
the other side. But
players do hear a lot though. There's a lot of talk, and I think it is.
No,
difficult.
players hear a lot, man, and we listen to all the games during the game. During the game, we're listening to the game.
Really, you can hear it.
Yeah.
Wow. So one little thing can get said, and you're like, yo,
you see, look at his face now. I knew it was something. I found it.
Players are listening to the games, bro. That's all I'm going to tell you.
All right. What about Paul O'Neill? No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, everybody loves Paulie. Who don't like
See?
Paulie?
You hear that reaction, though, bro?
Yo, that means Michael K. Maybe he's, maybe Michael's been a little bit too heavy-handed with his scrutiny.
And you know what's crazy is I always get the blame for this. I always get the blame. Like it's CC that doesn't like Michael K.
Because Michael has told me before that he's tried. I think Michael says he'll try to come up and talk to you when he sees you, but he feels like he gets a cold shoulder.
We never see each other.
I distinctly remember a hotel elevator. I've heard a story or two.
Here's one thing everybody got to know about CC, though. CC's the nicest guy. Okay,
really is. I love it, and it's awkward for me because he knows you and I are cool. I'm like, CC's my guy.
Michael K's trying too hard.
You think that's what it is?
Yeah, and CC's from the town. He's from the Bay Area. Why you trying so hard to be cool with me, my G? What you really up to? What you really trying to do here? What you really trying to do here?
What's the real reason?
Yeah, why me? Why you gotta be so cool with me, bro?
Right, that means you said something you feel bad about. That's what you're saying. All right, so hold on. I think this is mendable, though. I believe I can make this situation work.
I think everything is mendable. Like, why? I mean,
CC, don't fall for that. It was a setup question right there. So now you admitted to mending. Now that means that there's something broken. Rosenberg got you.
I didn't mean to. All right, so let's talk about the doc.
There's a doc about to drop Tuesday, December 22nd, Under the Grapefruit Tree, the CC Sabathia story. This is a serious story for you. This is a big deal. This is like the whole personal story.
It is, and it's very personal. I mean, this is my whole story. Growing up in the Crest, going through everything I went through. I like for me, it's the doc is great because I feel like my dad always gets like the shit end of the stick in my story. Like, he wasn't there and blah 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 blah. But if you watch this doc, you'll really understand, everything and how much he did play a huge role in my life, and I wouldn't be sitting here if it wasn't for him. So, I'm just excited for people to see that side of him and see our relationship. But yeah, I mean, it's hard for me I can't watch the doc without crying because it's just so emotional, and I've been through so much, and to relive it, it's almost like a therapy session for me, to relive going through the rehab and, watching Amber and my family and everything that I almost destroyed. I mean, it's definitely like a therapy session for me, for sure.
Yo, I'm proud of you, bro. That's a big deal. I know you're not.
Thank you.
And once again, the nicest dude, but you like your privacy, and you're very protective of your family, and you're protective of making sure cats don't try to play you out here. So for you to put this out there, I know it's a big deal.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And another thing too is, Sadie Zillow, Amber, my wife, Sabathia, they basically did this. I came to Amber, I was like, I want to document this last season. And I only wanted to just get like the high points of my last season, you know what I'm saying? And, we started filming this and it just turned into so much more. And it's like, you can't tell the end of the story without telling the whole story, you know what I'm saying? And this would be the first time that I really tell the whole story about everything that happened in Baltimore leading up me to going to rehab and really everything in 2015 that, led to all of that.
Wow. That's deep, bro. By the way, shouts to Amber. But
Shout out to Amber.
a lot of times people use the word better half lightly. In the case of CC, let's really
This
emphasize how much better a half we're talking about.
Yeah, this is definitely that case, right? Where this is actually really the better half. For sure.
This is very, very. All you got to do is deal with Amber, and you know. Oh, okay, this is the real deal, right?
This is it.
This is how they run their house for sure. Yeah, she does.
This is how it happened. This is how the success happened right here. She made sure that it was all on lock at all times, man.
Yeah, and in the doc too, you'll see how much she played a huge role in my career. And you know, we've been together now longer than we haven't. You know what I'm saying? We've been together now since 1998, bro.
Wow.
So yeah.
How old were you in '98?
I was 17.
And y'all been together
I was
what?
17.
22 years.
22 years now. Yeah. Yeah.
Yo, once again, congratulations. Proud of you, bro.
Thank you.
Yo,
Yeah, and proud of your ability to walk away from the game at the right time. You had a couple of moments that last year that were amazing and needed. You know, particularly the end of your penultimate year, at the end of that season when you stepped up and fought for your teammates. Was just an iconic moment. You took the fine on the chin. Everyone knew you were risking tons of money. Now, in that moment, CC, when you stepped up and you risked potentially losing that bonus, did you remember at all, or were you just completely caught up in the moment?
No, I knew that I needed that bonus. I knew that I knew that I was pitching good enough too. I could have finished that game. I only had like 50 pitches in the fifth inning. The only thing, and this is getting back to my wife, the only thing I was like, man, she's gonna be mad as hell if I lose this $500,000. But and she was in the stands, and
right.
And I hit him, and I'm walking off. I'm pointing to the dugout. I'm walking off, and I'm looking at her, but she's standing up, like giving me a standing ovation. So I'm like, oh, okay, we good now.
You were sitting like, I wonder if she forgot about the $500,000.
She was the only person that I was worried about that was going to be mad. But like, me and Gardy talked about it before I even went out there. He was like, bro, don't do it. I was like, are you kidding me? Like I have to do this. And he was like, you crazy. And I was like, I know. So I went out there and, you know.
But the Yankees came through with the bonus anyway, right?
Yeah. Hal called me the next day, and, you know, he was like, you know, your family, we're all family, and you stepped up and took care of your family, so we were going to take care of you. So, you know, that's how the Yankees work.
And speaking of that, before we let you go, I mean, you had a great career before you got to New York. But what does the Yankee organization mean to you? How do you think of the Yankees? What are the Yankees thought of as in the Sabathia household?
Oh, this is our family, from top to bottom. You know, the Steinbrenner family, you know, all the way down, you know, to everybody that works at the stadium. You know, all the guys in the clubhouse that I'm so close with. You know, Robbie Kukuza, Matt Neimer, you know, Joe Lee. I mean, you know, that's literally my family. I mean, for so long, me being a West Coast guy, I never could see myself fitting in the Bronx or fitting in pinstripes. And this ended up being the best place that I could finish my career. And, you know, I don't think that I have, you know, the following or obviously the career that I have if I don't, you know, end up here in New York. So
if you get that call in a few years from Cooperstown, because now that you hit that strikeout number last year and you got the Cy Young, you got 20 win seasons. If you were to get that call from Cooperstown, there's no hesitation about which hat you're wearing to.
No hesitation at all. No hesitation at all. It's going to be the pinstripes for sure if I get that call.
CC. Yeah, that's my dude. Yo, check the doc, December 22nd. Where can people find the doc?
HBO. The doc is on HBO
Max,
and it'll be streaming on HBO Max. Yep.
There you go.
And
CC
shouts to
Sabathia.
CC's podcast on The Ringer, by the way, R2C2 with my boy Ryan Rucco. Look for that wherever you get podcasts as well.
Rucco do the games too. Don't try to talk about my partner, bro. He do the baseball. He do Yes Network games too.
See, look at him. He's already trying to push Michael out.
I just figured it out. I just figured it out.
That's what it is, bro. He don't.
Oh.
He's trying to. You see what's happening?
Oh.
Full circle. No,
Yo, Michael K, check this out, fam. They tapping on the door, B. They want you out that booth.
Let me tell you what, Michael.
Out that booth.
I can't get in that booth, man. That shit. I don't want to be on that baseball schedule ever again. Like where I got to go somewhere every day for the summer.
No, I'm not saying you.
Oh, he knows Rucco. But Rucco's been Michael's backup now for a few years. That's
for
like
you
his
for
guy.
years. Yeah.
Yo, how Michael be treating Rucco though?
Very well.
Okay.
I mean, they're Fordham they're like he used to work at the station too. Him and Ruocco have been very close. I believe.
He worked at Yes for
And he worked
a while,
at Yes.
right?
I think he was like a statistician at Yes.
Yeah, and when I met Ruocco, he was doing the scoreboard. Remember, he would do like the scoreboard in game.
Scoreboard in-game hosting. That's right.
Yo, Ruocco,
Yeah.
I'm watching all this play out, my guy. See how these cats
So
move.
is Ruocco. He's patient. Thanks, CC.
All right,
No
take care,
problem,
brother.
guys.
Love
Hey.
you.